Hey, Chris and Bill here from Hot Tub University, and today we're going to talk about the state of the hot tub industry in the summer of 2022.
Let's get into it.
All right. So it's been a crazy couple of years, Bill. We've had so much happen in the last 3 years.
Look, prices are up, what, 50% over where they were 3 years ago?
Crazy.
Manufacturers have changed the way they're doing things. You know, I get the fact that there's pressure on a manufacturer. I mean, like the old saying says, make hay while the sun shines.
For sure.
You know, these guys are being overwhelmed with orders. They want to pump out as much as they can, but we're actually seeing manufacturers cutting quality corners in order to get more hot tubs out the door.
Big time. We are seeing, we're seeing, components changing. We're seeing fabrication methods changing. We're seeing, people not spending the time on the tub and not spending the money on the tub anymore because the market's so crazy right now.
Yeah, and another problem when it comes to that is the labor market, because as you know, making a hot tub is extremely labor intensive.
And it's hard to get good people. Harder than ever.
Yeah.
It's always been a trick.
And
to get
more
good
expensive.
Staff. For sure.
Which is part of what's driving prices up.
Well, we've seen big increases from factories. 30, 40%'s nothing from the factory end of it. And they've seen increases on cost of product all the way along as well as increases in pricing for labor and everything like that. So, by the time it hits the retail, yeah, there's big increases in pricing. But even within that, we're seeing very big regional differences in pricing.
Pricing is extremely, and I mean extremely geographic.
That's crazy. I mean, the fact that we're seeing, we've seen tubs with as much as $3,000 or $4,000 difference in pricing from one region to another.
Almost $8,000 in one case.
That's crazy. So what's happening here, folks, is your ability to figure out what your tub's worth is really almost impossible, because you've got a little snapshot of your little regional market, but that means nothing really to what that tub's worth really. It just means what that local market's sustaining.
And one of the problems that you see is there are a few hot tub dealers now who are actually publishing prices on their website. So you might look on a website and you might see, a Jacuzzi J345, and you might see it on a website for $16,000. That doesn't mean that $16,000 is the right price for that hot tub.
No, and we've seen, that tub, what have we bought that tub for this year?
Under 12?
Under 12 in some cases.
And one of the few pieces of good news in 2022 is that, for the most part, manufacturing has now caught up.
Yeah.
So we're not seeing these 12 and 18 month waits. You can usually get a hot tub now anywhere from 6 to 14 or 15 weeks.
Yep.
And we're seeing some stabilization in the pricing. Yeah, we're not seeing it come down, but we're seeing it finally stabilize.
Yeah, we did see a little drop from, the heyday when it was, 6 or 8 months ago when, you couldn't get a tub for love nor money. So definitely we're seeing some improvement in the pricing. You should be getting slightly better pricing coming down the pipe. It's never going to return to where it was. And again, in a lot of marketplaces, and we know which marketplaces have lots of independent service guys. A lot of these marketplaces, man, you're better to be buying wholesale now, because there's enough on the ground service. You can get chemicals and supplies and that kind of stuff just mailed to you now. So, the value of a local retailer is definitely dropping. I know the days when I had retail and people that bought my tub would come and see me every week or every 2 weeks. And I know in my last couple of years of retail, several years ago when I was retailing still, I was seeing probably 10% of my customers come back. The rest of them were just calling in orders for chemicals and calling in for service. So, it's, in certain marketplaces, it's definitely not the way tubs are sold anymore.
You're right, and I would say not just in certain marketplaces, but that actually applies to most marketplaces.
Yeah, we do find some remote areas where, you're going to have to deal with a local retailer, simple as that, because there's
if you don't have the service option.
Exactly, but it's fewer and far between. Yeah. So take a look at the industry now. It's messy. It's really hard. And honestly, guys, I don't think there's another industry in the world that charges as high a ticket price with as little real information. This is a dangerous industry. You can spend top dollar and end up with junk in your backyard.
The industry's unregulated. It's all about marketing.
It's a mess. I got a guy in California right now cutting up a 3-year-old swim spa that he spent 40 grand on. And he's cutting it up and he's putting a new swim spa in because he loved, the idea of the swim spa. And we're seeing this more and more, man. We're seeing people with new tubs. I had a client in Vermont that bought a tub from a mass merchant, and within 6 months, the shell's failing, and they had a repair guy out there. The repair guy was saying there's not even enough structure in the shell to repair the shell. Like, it was that bad. So be super careful out there. We got some great resources for you. There's always our free comments section. Jump on there. We'll answer your questions. You know, we get a lot of popular, a lot of traction with our phone consult service, where people call in and we just discuss what they're looking at and their brands they're thinking about, and help them, you know, settle in a little bit more. And of course, we got private buyer service, which is, you know, going to buy $20 million worth of hot tubs for clients this year. And those clients are saving a lot of money and dodging all the bullets. We're making sure of it. So yeah, 2022, tricky buying a hot tub. Come see Hot Tub University. We can help you with a lot of this.